Hey everyone, it's Stephanie.
And that man.
Surprise, we're back. I just wanted to sneak in this video before the season of Married at First Sight, season 12 comes back. I know it's been a while. Last time you saw us, we were expecting, and now we have a son, a beautiful, beautiful, perfect son. And initially, I wanted to share with you our experience. And then, you know, most of you guys know my father passed away, and that was unexpected. And so we just needed to take a break. So we wanted to kind of sneak in, share him with you, share our experience with you, just give you a little tidbit of how we've been doing. And then I will get started on the reviews next week.
Great. I'm excited because people ask you some questions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you guys originally asked us some questions, and so we kind of just want to give you just some experiences that we've had recently, and then we will share our son with you guys later if you haven't seen him yet, because I know some of you guys follow me on Instagram. Right now he's taking a nap, or hopefully staying asleep. We never know. He's 6 months now. So we will probably film with him tomorrow and just put that together, just so you know. We will not look like this because time is of the essence. If you're a parent, you know that your time is not your own, and so you gotta make it work. But we just wanted to kind of talk with you guys, just us two. And before we get started, I just want to say, you know, thank you guys so much for all the messages, all the prayers, well wishes. You guys have been checking. I mean, I think I even got messages yesterday. You guys have been checking in ever since I posted that video and let you guys know why I would be MIA. It's just been a really difficult season. It's been a difficult time. There's been so much beauty in what we've experienced with our son, but then so much grief in processing that. And that's just something that is a continual process, and it'll be a lengthy process. So we just want to say thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Continued prayers are welcome. And let's get started.
All right. Ready
So,
to roll.
Okay, the first question you guys asked us is, what was it like giving birth during a pandemic? And
It was tough. It was so tough.
Was it tough for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so much pain.
It was so tough for him. Okay, let me tell you guys what happened that morning. Okay, my son came 3 weeks early. Man. My pregnancy was pretty much flawless. Thank God. My pregnancy was flawless, had no issues, no nothing. And one day I woke up and I just started having what I thought was Braxton Hicks, which is like false labor pains, preparing you for the real thing. And it happened for the entire day, but they were spaced so far apart. It felt weird. You know, I was texting my sister, who's a nurse, and I had gone to the doctor a few days before and I was completely closed. So I thought, okay, here's this Braxton Hicks thing. Let me get prepared. I was doing research. It was saying not enough water can cause that. So I was just downing water all day long. It pretty much went for 24 hours. And the next morning at like 5 a.m., I was texting my sister like, I have not slept all night. I don't think this is right. And she was like, you need to go get checked out, without trying to scare me. And I had 4 contractions, what I now know to be contractions, within 20 minutes. So they came 5 minutes apart. So I woke him up, but I didn't want to startle him. So I said, hey, I need to go to the hospital, but I just want to get checked out, assuming that we would be back. But we took all our stuff. But because I didn't want to startle him, I wish I did startle him. He's like in the fridge looking at fruit and, baby, want an apricot? I'm sitting there contracting in a lot of pain, and he's just like on a different planet. And I blame myself.
Look. In my defense, I didn't know you were in labor. Like, I saw Best Man Holiday. I know what it looks like. The water breaks, everybody shakes and get all. Babe, it wasn't that. You woke up like Billy D. Williams asking me if I wanted Dos Equis. Like, you really was smooth.
No,
you did not.
Next time,
where did the water break? How, that's supposed to happen.
None of that happened. The movies are crap.
I didn't know.
The movie, I know that too, because I didn't know what was going on.
Because I had in my mind how I was going to zoom in the car. I was going to, do all this stuff.
He drove to the hospital like a tourist. And I'm sitting here like, what?
I thought we were just getting checked out. You know how many times we went to get checked out?
Well, here's the gotcha. By the time we got checked out, they said, oh, we'll do we'll do this, just as a formality, but you'll be fine. I was 4 centimeters dilated, and it was best that I had my scheduled C-section because I had had a surgery prior, and so that was what was the safest option for me.
And it was 3 weeks early.
Yeah, so we weren't, neither one of us was really thinking about it. But I got to the hospital probably at like 6:40 or so, and he was out at 9:37 because it was that urgent for him to come out. So that was a crazy little story that we had, but everything pretty much aside from that went very smoothly. I would say that having a baby during the pandemic.
Hold on. I gotta say this. The funniest part was the doctor. He was like, "Oh, well, all right, I think we're gonna have a baby today. I'll see you in 20 minutes." I'm like,
Yeah, like I said, well,
what?
he's like, you'll probably have the baby today. We'll wait for your physician to come in. And I said, what's the likelihood? He's like, about 90%. I'm like, yeah. So we definitely had the baby that day. So COVID restrictions. I mean, things are changing on the daily, but I know for when we had our son, he luckily was able to come with me. Some hospitals didn't let your spouse or partner come with you, which I think is absolutely absurd if you're having any type of major experience like that. But luckily he was able to. It was bittersweet because we actually, first of all, maternity, labor and delivery is very protected. They're very they're overly safe, which is what you need. We had a beautiful experience with our nurse, and she was like very caring and consistent and helpful. And it ended up being quite a peaceful experience for us. Because although it's exciting to have people come visit you, just balancing a newborn takes so much energy. And I'm thinking back to like, oh my God, if somebody was coming to visit every 5 minutes or for hours at a time, learning to breastfeed and learning to do all these things and being so exposed all the time, and people coming to check the baby every hour, people coming to check you, it's a lot. So we found a way to make it a beautiful experience, just the three of us. And it ended up being really, really peaceful. I personally went into it like, man, I wish I could have my family there. My sister's a nurse. I knew she was going to be there to like be protective. And so I went a little apprehensive, but it ended up being really, really nice. So what did you think?
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about the time where she was like, we're gonna just go wipe him down and give him his bath, and we'll be back. What?
Yeah.
No, I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
I was on her aspirin all night long.
Yeah.
But I wasn't letting that guy, get out of my sight.
Yeah.
And I will say though that the COVID part, it allowed us to just have just the three of us, because we would have been bombarded with family and friends and all these different people. And I think it gave us a chance to really bond together, doing a lot of skin on skin time.
Yeah.
It was precious. It was tough though too, because you don't have anybody to give you any breaks, but that hasn't stopped really, period. I mean, it's pretty much kind of been consistently, little breaks here and there, but it's been, like you said, bittersweet.
Yeah.
The answer.
Yeah. So, but it's very different. I mean, you get through it. You find a way to find the rainbow in the whole storm, if you will, the storm of the pandemic. Okay, next question. What was your first expression when you were first introduced to your son? So for me, I was on the operating table. So once again, you think you know what it'll be like. You don't, it's a very uncomfortable feeling. You feel people tugging and pulling and you can't move and you're kind of strapped down to the table. And, if any one of you have had a C-section, then your anesthesiologist is your best friend because they're helping calm you. Because when the baby comes out, he is now with the baby and he leaves with the baby. Dad goes with the baby. And so you're kind of alone. And laying back like this, and they're like, "Hey, mom, here he is," and he's like right here. Like it's not. If you're expecting a child, don't have much expectation because your experience will just be your experience, and it doesn't have to be what you are told it's supposed to be or what you see, because you're drugged up. Like for me, I was drugged up. I felt the tugging and pulling. It made me very panicky. The first expression wasn't necessarily what I even really recognized as the first expression to when I saw him for the first time. When they handed me him, after I had been closed up and in the room, recovery room, that's when I was just like, I was dumbfounded. And I would say I was numb in a sense that I just could not believe that this little person belonged to me. And not until I got home, because there's just so many moving parts. It's like a symphony in there. Not until I got home and I was quiet with him in my nursery did I like look down at him and just become like overwhelmed with emotion because oh my God, look at all it took to get this little person here and all the perfect little pieces that it takes to get a life here that we kind of take for granted because it's like, oh, you try to have a baby, you get pregnant, the baby comes. And there's so many things that have to be perfect for them to make it into the world. So I would say I was like in awe the first time I really saw him because I just couldn't really believe that this person was mine. So what about you?
Well, I was pumping and sweating in the waiting room because I was in the waiting room before they get her ready for me to come in, and I was the only person in there, and I was just, I mean, everything. I was praying. You know, that was, I will say that was the major thing I was doing because it's a level of joy and fear at the same time, especially as, you know, as a husband, you know, I have, you know, friends and stuff. And as you know, everything doesn't always go well with childbirth, whether it's natural or C-section. And so I was thinking all types of ranges of emotion. And so when I get in there, it's like a party. Like they literally were playing Purple Rain before that. And I think, you know, the Gap Band was playing. I'm like, okay, what's going on in here?
Yeah.
So our sir, it was like a cool episode of Grey's Anatomy or something. Like, but she was laying down and I just saw her and I literally was, you know,
Good.
I almost just kind of teared up, you know, because I can see her stomach. I could see it open. I saw all of that. And then I sat down and I sat next to her, held her hand, and I'm just praying and just, you know, sitting there and all, you know, it's all these barriers. So she can't really see what's going on. And it was just a new level of respect just through the process before the baby even came. And as soon as the baby came, I lost all my cool. But let me tell you, I was recording the ground first because I wanted to capture that moment. So I had my phone down recording. As soon as it said, Dad, I kind of popped up and I thought I was going to be smooth and record, but I was like, wow, like a little kid. Like I saw Mickey Mouse for the first time and I haven't recorded my reaction. And I just see this little human and the cord and the blood and the screaming. And it's just, but it was like slow motion. It was like that moment. It was just a level of love for him and her that took over. And any husband or male father that have witnessed that, I'm sure it's a feeling you can't explain.
Yeah.
And it's just a level of joy. And then, you know, I was just glad that they both were safe. That was the biggest thing that I wanted, both of them to be healthy.
All right. Okay, the third question is Cinco, his real name. So we have gotten this question so many times. How'd you come up with that? Give us the fun story for that.
I'll take that.
There's no fun story.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
All righty, everybody. So his name is Cinco because his real name is my name. Edmund Eugene Lee the Fourth is my name. So his name is Edmund Eugene Lee the Fifth. It sounds like we should have a bunch of money, doesn't it? But anyway, his legacy. And so we didn't want to call him that old name. So we called him.
Yeah, you need some years before.
You got to. It's great when you get older because it helps me in business and other things. But when you're a kid, even my family doesn't call me Edmund.
Right.
But his name is Cinco because he's the fifth. So
yeah.
And we have a what is it? Sonogram? Is that what it's called?
Sonogram, I guess.
X-ray.
Oh yeah.
We have an X-ray where he actually
sonogram,
put his sonogram, whatever. That thing, mammogram, whatever. He had where he put up his number 5 before we knew the sex, and that's when I knew it was a boy. When he put his little hand up. So we maybe one day, I don't know, we could share that. But anyway, he put his little hand up and I'm like, that's the fifth. That's him. That's my guy.
And that is a name that I literally, when we first got married, said, oh, if we have kids, we can name the girl blank. And then we can name the boy Cinco. That's what we'll call them as their nicknames. And it just stuck. So we've been calling Cinco for like 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I knew since I was, 13, 14 that if I had a child, it'd be my name. So it was no joke. But Edmund, Kind of call a baby Edmund.
Yeah, so no fun story there. All right. This one is funny. And some of you guys ask questions that were specific to me. So I'll do a mommy vlog and answer some of those questions, but this is just like a mashup of the ones that pertain to us. So what doesn't he like? When can you tell that you're getting on his nerves? So I'm kind of glad we waited. I mean, we didn't wait on purpose to do this, but I'm kind of glad we waited till now because he's 6 months old, and so that personality is coming through more. It's very easy to tell when you're getting on his nerves. He is bold with his personality. He's bold with what he likes and doesn't like. If he doesn't want something, he will like push it away. He has this very unbothered glare where if he doesn't like something, you know it. You can do everything. And it's funny because he's pretty much half and half. Like he's half me and half him in terms of personality.
Which half is you?
The one that's less jovial, I guess, the less animated one, believe it or not. Like you can do everything in front of him, and if he's in no mood, he's gonna be like this. But then there are times where he's just so playful. A lot of times he's so playful, and he will like tap you if you're not paying attention, and he likes to scream and growl with his dad and fight and roll. And it's very easy to tell though, because even today my mom was feeding him and he didn't want any more, and he like shoved her hand away, and she's like, no, he didn't do that. And he shoved her hand away again and then looked at her like, I told you I don't want this bottle. So it's fun to see. Like he has a great personality, and you can kind of tell.
He's
all right.
funny.
He is very funny. All right. What do you wish somebody had told you now that you're parents? For me, my sister has 3 kids. Some of my closest friends have children. My sister and one of my best friends gave me so much information that I was like, what positives are there? And because they scared me straight. They didn't sugarcoat it. So for me, there's nothing that I wish somebody would have told me that I didn't know. As with everything, I don't romanticize just one side of it. Like I didn't romanticize marriage, because a lot of people do that. They're like getting married, and so they romanticize all these beautiful parts of it, and they kind of skip the parts that they really need to wrap their mind around that is not so easy. And so I did the same thing with motherhood, with parenthood, where I kind of really thought about the things that wouldn't be as easy or wouldn't be the fun part of parenting. And then I think there are some things that whether somebody tells you or not, those are the things that you know when you know. So for me, I had a wealth of real information. I don't feel like I was not told anything. What about you?
I feel like one of my friends kind of alluded to it a little bit, as far as, how it's just another drive that you get when you have a child, as a man. So I'm just speaking as a man, obviously. So what I think somebody could have told me, let's say a long time ago, or maybe this video for whoever's watching, is there's a level of manhood that I transcended to after having a child. One, after marriage, and then after having a child, that to me made me a more sensitive person, experiencing love and caring in a different way. And also just a lot of the BS that I would pay attention to and things I cared about, I just don't anymore. It's just her and him for the most part. And what I wish somebody would have said was just, hey, the man that you desire to be in life is on the other side of you actually having a child. Because I do what I do at a different level, in a different way, for him and for her. And if I was just single and going through the motions and afraid, the thing I was afraid of the most, as far as just when I was younger, of being a dad and doing all those things, is what makes you the successful person in life and business, etc. And I will tell you this, it's a moment, a split second as a father that fight or flight comes. Either you're going to fight and really be a great dad and stay in that person's life, or you're going to be a coward and leave. It is immediate, and you make that decision, and I'm never getting away from that guy and never getting away from her. And that's the decision that you have to make immediately, or people just know that they're going to check out either physically or emotionally at that time. And I think it's really just a calling calling you up to who you are called to be. So that was huge for me. And I
All right.
love it. I love being a dad.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What are some things you pray for your son? Um, so I think that I can answer this question so many ways, but I'll answer for now. I definitely pray over him and his health and his safety, good energy around him, I pray for who I want him to become. I pray for a lot of things, but one of the main things that I always pray for at night is because I always pray for him over before I go to sleep, is that we remain vigilant in our awareness of his needs when he needs it or even before he needs it, because there's so many things that children need and so many things can happen, and I literally pray like, God, do not let me be too far into my sleep. Do not let me be too distracted. Do not let me be too heavy in grief. Nothing that would distract me from the needs of my son before he even knows he needs it. Because I always want to make sure, to the best of my ability and to the best of our ability, that he's well taken care of, emotionally, mentally, physically, every way. So right now, my prayer, and they will develop over time, because I pray over the man I want him to be, etc. My prayer is that we remain vigilant for him so that he is supported 100,000%. What about you?
Well, I pray that he emotionally just understands that we're there for him. And I pray for just the power and the discernment to learn how to be a great dad, how to be there for him, and praying for her as well, because I mean she doesn't sleep much, and I pray that he just goes to sleep for a little bit sometimes and give her a break.
Can y'all pray that he goes to
Yeah,
sleep?
I mean that is the prayer,
He's
right? For
teething now
now.
and
Oh
needs
my
sleep
God.
regression, so yes.
Yeah, and I just
Yes.
pray that he's just forever just respectful to us, to God, and that he and honestly that I leave an imprint on him strong enough that that creates a great man in this world. And so those are the things that we pray for.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. The best part of being a new parent. Um, God, I don't know. There's so many things, but I will say there's this thing that I do that a lot of new parents do, where it's like you beg for them to go to sleep, but then you're up looking at pictures of them and looking at videos, and it's like you should be asleep, but you're so enamored. I'm so enchanted and enamored with him. Um, the best part of being a new parent, I guess, for me, is that he has birthed the mother in me. He has birthed a different version of me, one that just did not exist before. You'll love your child, like, of course, before you're like, you see other parents and they're obsessed with their kid, and you're like, oh yeah, of course, that's their kid. Of course I'll be obsessed with my kid. There's no words that I could express that demonstrate the depth of my love for this little person. Like, obsession is an understatement. And it just creates a different person, that just could not exist had this child not come about. And that's the best part, like learning the depths of the way that you can love and selflessness, because I don't think of myself this way. I don't think about it anybody, because most of us are adults and we can fend for ourselves and stuff like that. But when you have a child, the way that you think about the world and the way that you think about them is so beyond anything that you've ever had to do before. And I think that is what I love about being a new person, a new parent. He has created a new person and a better person. I am better because of him, because it makes me look at things differently. And should I do that? Shouldn't I be doing that? Should I maybe think about something different, or how can I be better so that I'm better for him, etc. So that transformation is only because of him. So that's kind of like my gift as a new parent. What about you?
Like I was saying before, just like she just said, piggybacking off that, just a new found understanding of what it takes to be a man. I mean, just another level of manhood, another level of responsibility, and just joy. It's like if joy and love had a baby. That's what being a parent is. It's that level of I will do anything for this little person.
Yep.
And those little moments where I'm holding him by myself and hugging him it's nothing that I can explain. The feeling it also gave me a new lens of the world. It's kind of like I get it now. Like all the parents that I know, you'll see when you become a parent.
Yeah.
Now
Like,
I see.
duh.
Now
But
I
you
see.
do really
It,
see.
yeah, it's kind of like when you're in middle school and you think you know what it means to be a high school senior.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Right? Or to be in college. It's the same difference. So it's like now I've graduated to a different level of being. Not that if you have to have kids to have that,
This is just the
but it's
experience
just
of
our
having.
experience. I know I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for having him in that way.
Okay, so next question is,
about
would
this
we
one?
have,
Oh yeah.
would we consider having another?
Thanks, Grandma. I mean, how many people ask us that
People
question?
have asked me that since the operating table.
Since you were conceived.
Yeah.
Is it 2 in there?
Let me tell you something. 3 months in, I was 12 weeks, and I went to this gala with him. And this lady next to me was just like, "Oh my God, congratulations. I can't even tell." Because I didn't show until late. I didn't really show until like 6.5, 7 months. So she couldn't tell. And I was like, "Yeah, this is our first." And she was like, "So are you going to do the second one?" And I'm like, "Girl, we're still doing the first one. Like, this is 3 months in." And she's like, "Just knock it out." And the answer to that question, because we've gotten it a million times, is that that's something that we're going to discuss, and we're too sleep deprived to have a real answer for you. So who knows? You never know. It's not off the table. That's
Yeah, I would say wait, just keep going.
yeah. we're like talking to y'all, but like have one ear in the nursery. That's where we're at these days.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're
We'll
at.
see how that goes.
So the biggest adjustment in caring for a newborn and now an infant during a pandemic, everything is an adjustment. I mean, you can't trust the world right now, for a million reasons. So you have to question every move you make, going to the grocery store, going to any store, how close people are, the precautions that people are taking. Who do you trust enough to watch your child? And the reality is the pandemic, the virus is not subjective, where it's like, you're not close to that person, so that person can get it, but you are close to that person, so that person can't get it. So it leaves you in a bubble, where you really have to overanalyze every single move you make, and really have to really take precautions and question everybody's level of precautions and what they'll do. It's taken just, I don't know. Part of this process was supposed to be kind of like fun and free. And it's like, oh, people are going to visit the baby. And you couldn't wait to show off the baby. You couldn't wait to go here and go there and travel. And all of that is off the table, because right now it's about safety first. And it's like, let me not get too comfortable to where I put myself in jeopardy or I put my child in jeopardy. And that's just what we're thinking. When he goes out, I'm sure he's thinking, okay, let me not do this. And when I go out, let me not do this. And family, it's like, well, did you wash your hands, and where have you been, and what are you doing, and how could you go to the grocery store? It's a lot. And because we have been personally affected in a negative and detrimental way with the virus, it's even 10 times worse. So rearing a child during the pandemic is extremely, extremely, I would say, difficult.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest adjustment is two major ones. Is my dad has never seen his grandson. My sister has never seen her nephew in person. They would have been here. They would have flown here. They would have been in the outside the delivery room. They would have been right there. And he's 6 months and they have not seen him. My mom has just risked it all. She said, "I'm coming." She was here. She flew in the day before he actually was born. And then she just came back now, 6 months later. She would have been here many times, and we have to go through that process, and that fear, and as you know, that it's very heavy over here for that, for obvious reasons. And the second thing is, as far as work concerned, a lot of people are doing work from home, etc. But a lot of my consulting is in person. I'm a business consultant, and my contracts are like in Minnesota right now, and they were in Wisconsin, and one thing about having a child is he comes first. So I was like, look, this is how we got to do this. And I just created this work from home position, and it was either take it or leave it, because I'm not leaving them and not putting them at risk. And that's one thing. If I was single or whatever, you would just, I would just kind of go do it. But I mean, I was literally flying home from that way when all the stuff happened with George Floyd. Like, I literally was on a plane right during that time. And so it's been tough to think about just a lot of things that's going on in the world, not just the pandemic, that's made it a tougher experience. And the last thing is that a lot of parents that are telling, oh, we did it, just figure it out. If you have not had a child in the worst year of one of the worst years
our generation, for sure,
of even this country,
right,
the world, I don't want to hear it, right? You don't understand all of the things that we have to put up. No nannies. I mean, it's tough.
And the people who do, because I do have a lot of my friends, it's almost like we went to brunch and we were like, 1, 2, 3, sex with your man, and we all got pregnant at the same time. Seriously, it's like we all had back-to-back babies. We did 1, 2.
Well, I got good swimming, so whenever the game was on,
but like
knocking at the door,
this guy, he hasn't changed.
Cinco came in this world a champion.
He hasn't changed. But no, some of them have nannies, and they have gone through so many different ways to figure out how to make that make sense. And, even having their nannies in their house, only some, because most of them don't. It's just rigorous. It's just not the same. And there's a lot of things that you have to think. So just being pregnant during the pandemic, having a baby during the pandemic, crossing into this new year with a small child, it's definitely a unique experience. I'll say that.
I mean, to think going to Walmart to get something for your child could hurt your child. Like, that's just insane.
Yeah. So last question, we'll leave it with this. Do you love your spouse more than now that you've seen them with your child? For me, it's absolutely. I don't think there's nothing more attractive than him with our son, because that touches on a different side of him. Watching those two, I have like pictures in my phone of them two when I just capture candids, and it's like this, there's nothing sweeter than that. And you see a different side of your spouse. You do. I see a more sensitive side of him, singing nursery rhymes. He doesn't know them, so he sings slowed down frat songs, but it's just the it's just so sweet. It's so precious. And just when you see somebody that's just a mix of you two, there's just nothing that touches your heart like that. So for sure, there's like a deeper appreciation. And he's home. Our schedules are opposite because of the pandemic and the way that we worked it out so that we can be with him. So that, where I could say a lot of men necessarily may not do that as well with the extensive time that they spend together. He's done a really, really good job with him. And I know that my son is being nurtured just like he knows, his son is being nurtured. When he's with me, I know that my son is being nurtured, and it's just a beautiful experience to see. So I would say absolutely.
Yeah, since the delivery. I mean, before that, even through pregnancy, it's just it's love more, but it's also a deeper love. There's an admiration that I have for her, a respect that I have for her. Just, I mean, it's I don't even use this word, but it's a beautiful thing. But
oh my God.
I mean, I don't know how.
It's a beautiful thing. Ugh.
It's a precious thing.
Right.
It's very special.
See, the baby made him super sweet. See, he's saying beautiful and precious. He didn't say that before.
But it is, to see you carrying them, and it's something that, like, there's a connection between the mother and her child. When she's nursing him, it's just a precious thing to see, and it's like they have this connection where it's just like, wow, and just the things she does for him and sacrifices herself. I think motherhood is. I think mothers are just what makes this world go round. I mean, they just do so much and still works, still cooks, and takes care of and does her thing. And I'm just appreciative of her. I mean, I cook too, but I'm just saying she still does everything that she was doing before, and just flourishes. And I think all shout out to all mothers out there. I mean, I don't know how y'all do it physically, the hair falling out. I mean, I just can't imagine that type of stuff.
Ain't no hood like motherhood. That's all I got to say. That is all I got to say.
Wow.
All right, you guys. So stay tuned. We're going to probably do this tomorrow, but we're going to show you our son within the next clip. And then you'll see me guys once a week on the reviews for Married at First Sight. We're on season 12 now, guys. So I can't wait to kind of jump in there and let you know our take. And we'll see you soon. So thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate you guys. We really missed you guys. Can't wait to see you once a week or, you know, whenever anything comes up, because I have ideas for lots of stuff. We just got to get this energy, this mommy energy going. And then, yeah, so ask us any questions you have. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like, and we'll see you guys soon. Everyone have a great night. Hi guys, we told you we'd show you our beautiful addition, and here he goes. Say hi, baby. So this is
Oh, sorry.
this is a breast milk popsicle, okay? Because he's teething. He's 6 months now, so he is more interested in this popsicle than he is saying hello. But I promise you guys will see him more as the season goes on. We're gonna show you little tidbits of his little nursery and stuff like that. But who do you guys think he looks like?
So can we get him?
Yeah, here he is.
He's on to that popsicle.
Lots of people say me, lots of people say my husband. We get a lot of 50-50 though. Say hi, Poppy. They've been waiting for you.
He's not concerned.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He's not bothered whatsoever. He's on to the popsicle.
Right?
Look at him.
Say hi. Hi. Okay. All right.
If y'all don't have popsicles, he don't care.
Yeah, so that's a sneak peek. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys next week.